Okay guys, are you ready for the finals of Jägerlisk Master Cup, the first edition of a weekly series of tournaments where you can win $100 each Friday at 8 PM CET. So join in if you're a player and subscribe if you're a viewer. We hope you had as much fun as we had casting this event. Zed, are you with me?
Yep, definitely for the finals, and they are going to be some great games coming up because both of these players are really some amazing guys who can hold their own in the finals. So I guess we are in for a treat with this PvZ.
Yes, this PvZ is going to be awesome. Let's see what happens. Tefel, right now I can place a bet that he will go for 14 pool. If he doesn't, then I will just, I don't know, I can tattoo your name on my forearm.
Yeah, actually that's the thing that you're supposed to do in a PvZ, so I wouldn't be surprised. Krr had a probe that wasn't mining for a few seconds, it was just following the other probe. That was kind of weird over here, but other than that, everything's going smooth and quite normal for both of these players.
Yeah, it seems so. We will have a Forge Fast expand. Now, what I saw recently, Autosis called it a knowledge bomb dropping. Did you see the game between Hack and I think it was Sniper? Where Sniper has perfectly countered Hack's Forge Fast expand with... and with Spinecrawler Rush. He had two overloads at the front, and he placed Spinecrawlers, 4 Spinecrawlers, in such a position that Hack could not reach them, and he has lost the pylon at the front, he has lost the forge, and he has lost the game eventually. And I don't know if we will see a shift in the metagame, because it's very late in Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm is just around the corner. But other than that, that was awesome. I would love to see something like that from Tefel.
Huh. Going for the wall, and he's probably gonna plant a photon cannon soon. He went for quite a quick nexus. I really like that. But at the same time, it really looks looks really well done. Really standard. Tefel going for the first expansion. I don't see a second one, but it seems like he's going to expand quite soon. There's no extractors, so I believe that he's going to... yeah, there we go. There's the drone. Being blocked by the queen. Oh, so unfortunate. Oh, there we go. So, right now, I'm kind of wondering as to what the Protoss player is going to choose, because that is going to be the deciding factor when it comes to the dynamics of this game.
Yes, and most of the Protoss players nowadays play 2 base all-ins against the Zerg, and as unfortunate as it may seem, it is actually great because the games you see are awesome. Not too many Protoss decide to go for a 3rd base on this map. It's kinda awkward to defend with 2 possible run-by locations, but then some also decide to make a wall off at the natural, so you can't get through near the rocks. There's a lot of ways how this map can play out. What I just think we can sense here coming is some form of a 2-base aggression. No, if a Protoss player doesn't manage to snipe off the 3rd from the Zerg, then he's in a world of trouble.
Yeah, and I'm kind of wondering because, 2-base aggression is all well and good, but quite a few Protoss players have shown us that they can go for a quick 3rd base and then play out of that, get some quick 8 gates going. But there we go, going for the multi-gate, and that's really interesting because he's not really searching +1 at all. And that's a 7-gate. Actually, that's an 8-gate. Yeah.
That's an 8-gate, and only 1 gas mining. Would that be an 8-gate with Zealots? MC does something like that, and people just don't expect that the Zerg scouts and think, oh, there's no 2nd gas, there's no 3rd gas. Oh, well, I'm quite safe. He'll be expanding, or maybe he's cannon rushing my 3rd. The Zerg will be confused. That's the main point, and then you will go ahead and attack with pure Zealots. Now the problem is that Curry doesn't have +1 upgrade right now.
Yeah, actually, I don't think that Tefel is reacting to that all that well because he doesn't see a gas in the natural. He doesn't see a second gas. He doesn't have a vision on the second gas, so he doesn't know that there isn't one. So he's kind of playing blindly, but only slightly. At the same time, he went for a lair at the 7-minute mark, and only after about 10 seconds he added a Roach Warren. So that's really late Roach Warren.
Yeah, and the timing on the warp gates is super early. 8-gate push at 7:40. That's like, you know, the fastest you can do it, and Kerr executes it perfectly. Now we will have a warping of Zealots, and let's see what happens at the third. Will Tefel defend this? I highly doubt so.
Yeah, I don't think that Tefel has a chance of defending this base. He's already evacuating the drones, and actually he's gonna try and use them to defend. Well, there's no +1, so the Zealots are not really as effective against the Zergans that they would have been with the upgrade. You know, but the lone roaches are getting picked off, and there's no way that Tefel is going to defend that. He has way too little, and the warpings are coming in, and there's a lot of warpings from Kerr. He doesn't really have a lot of resources, but it doesn't matter. Tefel's starting to lose drones, and this is looking really, really bad for the first player.
Great play by Kerr, and someone on the chat even says that this beats MC timing. By skipping this +1 upgrade, you can actually get a faster attack, and this is exactly what happened. Now the question is Kerr able to hold this attack, to keep attacking and finish off the roaches without the +1, which is so critical in the timing that MC does.
Yeah, and actually Tefel is starting to hold. He has 47 probes against 36 probes, so if he holds that, he's not going to be in a bad spot because he already has a lair, and this is really critical right now. There's the sentry, but there's no guardianship.
Oh, what a nice force field! That was the force field that Kerr has needed at this point, and this gives him another shot at taking Tefel down. A great play by both of the players, an amazing game. I didn't expect that happening on the Jägeris Pro Cup finals, to be honest.
Yeah, there's quite a few Zealots fighting with the Zergans, and this is actually a great thing for Kerr because he wants the Zealots to fight with the Zergan. There we go.
And
the GG gets called.
Wow, what an intense game right off the bat, right away. In the finals, did Kerr just show us some invention of his? We don't see strategies like that too often. It's commonly accepted that when you do a multi-gate push, you have to have this +1 upgrade. Some people even go for +1/+1.
Yeah, but the thing is that when you don't research +1 and you know, go with the early gateways, it actually hits a bit earlier. And it can catch Zerg unaware and out of position, and you know, without the technology needed to defend against this. And actually it really worked because Tefel, as I said, didn't react to it. He went for a lair and then for a Roach Warren. When you don't see assimilators in the natural, I would say that you could you could go with as early as a 6:45 Roach Warren. And that would have been a great position.
We
for
also
Tefel.
have some good data from the chat. Thank you very much, Starcraft. He says that MC does this attack with +1 upgrade at 8-minute mark, exactly 8-minute mark. Because now what Kerr has done is he had the first warping wave at 7:30. That's being precise like a freaking Japanese robot.
Yeah, but that's exactly where +1 multi-gate should hit at 8 minutes. That's 8 minutes is like was for the longest time the defining point of a PVZ.
Yeah.
And as you can see, without this +1, it hits much earlier, and actually the 15 seconds, around 15-20 seconds that are needed to create this attack is a huge difference when it comes to defense from the Zerg player.
So let's go straight to the game number 2. What an exciting finals. Tefel spawning the top right position as the red Zerg on this map, and the map is going to be Daybreak.
So right now Kerr at the top, at the bottom left location, excuse me, as a blue Protoss.
Ooh,
They,
did you?
yeah,
Do you see that? There's he right away sends a probe. I thought there's going to be some cheese, but no, he just
No, no,
sends
no, no, no.
a little bit too early to the front to send to build the pylon. I got too excited.
Yeah, that's.
I thought,
was
oh,
like,
this is
there's
cool.
a
He
probe.
has just beaten MC Timing. I wonder what he's going to do this game. My God, I love him so much. Do you have his number?
I wouldn't say that Daybreak is it's a good map for a Forge Fast Expand. So I wouldn't say that Crew's gonna do anything else. It worked the first game. He might be doing a multi-gate attack, because when you do a multi-gate, it's really not reliant on the map as much in terms of in terms of the warpings. Because if you do a let's say a Sentry Mortal push, it's kind of you have to be aware of your surroundings. Let's say on Ohana, you have a lot of ways you force fit your opponent off when you travel towards his base, and it's not a huge map, so it doesn't take long for your immortals to get there. On Daybreak, it's kind of a bit longer. On Entombed Valley, you have huge open space in the middle of the map, and it's always a cross position, so Zerglings attacking can get a nice surround. So it's really important to get them up into a factor. And when you create a multi-gate, it doesn't really, the travel time doesn't really matter, because you just warp in front of your enemy's base.
You need to be perfect with your pylon timings, and you need to be careful if the pylons get picked off or not. Because the first warping wave happened around the middle of the map, and the second pylon that was a little bit further away was just there in the nick of time for the first wave of Zealots to appear to complement the attack with Stalkers. So I mean, that execution, I don't imagine it can get better than what Kerr did. It's like the example of going 8-gate push without +1.
So Forge Fast Expand in the works, Gateway #1 being produced. There's already a photon cannon, and I wouldn't say that this is the best wall ever on Daybreak, but it works. It works. So let's not get into that. Tefel's probably gonna expand again, and there we go. There's the drone at the spot of the third base, getting morphed into the hatchery. That's like every drone wants to be a hatchery. I don't know if you knew that. Every drone, because if you're a spawning pool, you just like the jacuzzi in which everyone is washing their feet. Who would want to be that?
Yeah, that's the reason why the water there is green, really.
Yeah, and if you're a hatchery, you like the walking building block of the hive and everything, so every drone wants to be a hatchery, just ask away. So anyway, a cybernetic are being created. There's only 2 assimilators. That's quite important, and what's more important is that Tefel has an overlord near the assimilators in the natural, and this is super important for him to scout whether these assimilators are
there's even an
going
exact
to be produced.
spot where the map makers have kind of meant it for the overlord to stay, which is these kind of blue holographic things, and you can put your overlord there without any risk of being seen. There needs to be something flying to see your overlord if you hide it there, but then you can always hide it safely around the place where he's doing it right now. Now, regarding what drones want to be or not in the future, I once saw a short comic on what the larvae want to be. So there were 2 larvas talking, and one said, "Oh my God, I would love to be a broodlord or corruptor, and the other said, "Yes," and then they felt the hive mind going, we're going to be broodlords, and they both went cheering, "Yes, we're going to be broodlords." And there's a voice in the background, "We need more overlords."
Spawn more overlords. Yeah. So
Spawn more overlords.
So let's look how this game's progressing. Tefel knows that there's an assimilator being produced in the natural. He actually doesn't see the second assimilator because the overload is too far.
That's a misfortunate placement, yeah.
Yeah, but the Roach Warren in his natural is has been built before the 7th minute mark. So he's actually reacting to what happened in the previous game. So that's something to be worth mentioning.
But also notice this kind of weird position of Twilight Council. I mean, Kerr, I would imagine he would be more careful with where he places the Twilight Council. This has already been spotted by Tefel, so Tefel is kind of prepared that a +2 Blink Stalker force will hit him from a multi-gate.
Yeah, yeah, it's a multi-gate. It's basically a 7-gate with plus, yeah, with +2 and blink, and it's gonna hit much harder. I mean, well, not much harder in terms of brute force, and it's gonna hit a bit later. So we're already at almost 9 minutes into the game, and these gateways are finishing, but there's no blink yet, there's no +2 yet. So Tefel it kind of gets is winding down with the defense. He knows that there's nothing coming yet. He's actually right now he's trying to scout what his opponent is doing. He sees the additional gateways, so he knows that something is up. He knows that there's no third base, and he's actually he sees the additional gateways and the Twilight Council. That's huge piece of information right there for Tefel.
Right. Yeah. Now, what I saw one player do recently was to delay this push. So, you know, you would force your opponent into thinking, okay, I was wrong, it is not a blink push with +2. And what they did in the background is to go for +3 upgrade. And blink stalkers with +3, they are just killing meat grinders. But anyway, Kerr, a very nice set of force fields, but not too many of them left after this turn of events, and wow, Tefel does a very good job at avoiding the force field. And still, blink is not shown by Kerr. He wants to leave that as a last minute advantage, and a push coming right up. We'll see how it goes. Oh, the roaches are trapped behind the force fields, and wow, there are so many roaches. He actually managed to push back, but the +2 upgrade will now kick in. There are more stalkers warping in. Will that be enough to push the Zerg? Yes, it is. A lot of the stalkers are on yellow or red health, but that's enough. You don't need to save all the units from taking damage. You just need to push.
Yeah, and the +2 is working beautifully, but Dusker has enough. I mean, that's basically the brute force right now. It's basically my units are attacking against your units are attacking. There's no fungals, there's no forces, there's no anything, there's no guardian shield, and I believe that Tefel might have a fighting chance against defending that. But the thing is that the blink is just working amazingly to sustain these stalkers on the field of battle, and there's more roaches. I believe that Tefel would want a few additional Zerglings to surround the stalkers, or maybe attack from a different angle. But look how the roaches are basically melting down.
I think that Tefel is going to be wiped off the board right now. Making a very good use of his overlords. He basically was tanking some damage with them. If a stalker is not close enough to a roach, he won't fire on it. Instead, he will pick off a nearby overlord. So it did soak some damage up, but then Tefel doesn't have enough units to keep this off his third base, and now has lost a lot of overlords. He will be supply blocked in a second. Not sure if he has even enough larva.
And Tefel doesn't have a queen in his third base, so there's not enough larvae over here. And he's trying to attack again. He's kind of not really decisive about this. He's picking a few Zerlots, and there's just too many stalkers. There's basically too many stalkers, +2, more than there are roaches. And let's remember, they have blink, they have superior upgrades, and this third base is absolutely undefendable by Tefel. He just doesn't have enough.
But Tefel playing very nicely, very actively. We can see his micro is up to par. And we have a GG, so that's 2-0 for Kerr. With a nice timing push. Well, it's a standard timing push, blink upgrade +2. That's what you do against Zerg.
Yeah, well, basically what Krr reminds me of Verdi, with the two-base all-in timing, well, all-in-ish timing attacks. Basically, it's like watching Verdi on Intel Extreme Masters.
Yeah, I cannot disagree. All right, guys, we'll be back after a very short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. people on the chat are going crazy. They are saying, my god, since the last time we saw Kerr, he did skill up. And it seems so. So, right into that game number 3. Let us just update the score. It's 2-0 for Kerr. But now, spawning in the top left position, it is Tefel as the red Zerg.
Yeah, and on the bottom right location on Ohana, Krr playing as a blue Protoss. He's he's winning 2-0 right now, and someone says, so now he's gonna Sentry Immortal all in. And actually on Ohana, I wouldn't say this is out of the equation, because Ohana is the map that was famous for most importantly White Ras Sentry all-in builds.
Yeah, I think Ohana and Metropolis are the 2 most important maps for that strategy, because there's an easy access between the 3rd and the 2nd base.
And well, let's see what's gonna happen, because right now Kerr going for the Forge Fast Expand build, with Tefel basically going for the 14th pull and then a double expand. On Ohana, not a problem with the expansions like these. And as I said, the first important thing about PvZ is that it's the Protoss who's the initiator most of the time. It's the Protoss player who's setting the pace for the game, either by expanding, either by all-inning with 8 gates or something like that, or perhaps trying to harass with the Phoenixes or something similar. So basically, it's the Protoss that's the instigator.
And you know, for these of you guys who have just started your adventure with StarCraft, the reason why it is that way is the Zerg has an amazing economy, and they can easily take up more and more expansions. So if Protoss would play passive, the Zerg would just be taking additional bases at all times, and that's it. So Protoss has to force the hand and force the cards out of his opponent's hands by making a move. So this is a very active game for Protoss players in the PvZ matchup. Am I right in saying that, Zed?
Am I right or am I right? Right?
Right! Right on!
So basically, well, Tefel's doing, the thing that Zerg players do all the time, which is building drones, Like, when you're Zerg, being Zerg is like working a Starbucks,
And how is it?
Well,
I'm
basically,
not sure
people come in and ask for some macchiato, triple foamed, whatever the hell, right? But for you, it's all just coffee, right? So you just build drones, all right? You just fill cups with some delicious brown beverage.
That's a sick analogy, Zed.
Right. So basically, what we are waiting right now is for the Protoss player to decide on what he wants to do, and judging by the 2 previous games, I'm kind of inclined to say that he's going to try and perhaps build an attack that's going to be a very early gateway-based attack.
It may be so. He already has 2 gases. With 3 probes in each gas geyser. That's a big difference, because some players just go 2 gases, but they actually put only 2 probes in each, so that's still a very light gas play. And we have a Robo, so I think you were right in saying that we may see some Immortal Sentry play. Now, the interesting thing to note is that the Immortal Sentry play that was invented as an all-in has then became somewhat of an either all-in or try to take the 3rd base. Would you agree with me?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that every 2 base aggression from the Protoss player is an all-in, because if I want to reach out and pick a player from, let's say, the Polish community, I would say Indy was a great player that showed us these 4-gate aggression builds in which they were great games in which Indy was able to pick a third base off or some significant amount of drones and also against maybe a queen or something like that, etc., with only 4 gateways. And you know, in the wake of this attack, he expanded, he created another attack. So it's not that every single 2-base aggression from Protoss is an all-in. But as you said,
also I think that he's displaying the signs of wanting to secure the third base. If he wouldn't like that, first of all, he wouldn't be destroying these rocks. But also, one of the players, a very active viewer, by the way, is saying that he has watched through Kerr's replay pack that Kerr released, and that's something that Kerr does. He doesn't go Sentry Immortal all-ins that much. He prefers to take the third, and that exact viewer was surprised that the previous 2 games were like they were.
Yeah, and it's kind of an interesting semi-mind game, I'd say, because Ohana is a map for Sentry Immortal all-ins, and you know, when you scout your opponent, see the double assimilator in the natural, you scout a robotic facility or perhaps see an immortal, and you think, all right, he's gonna attack me.
I'm not sure that I like the fact that Kerr has shown this immortal, because that immortal didn't add any value to destroying that overlord and was just a free piece of scouting information. But also Kerr had a nice reaction time on getting away with that worker, so that Zerg didn't see the Nexus going down at first. Now, of course, the Zergling has confirmed the information, and that's a sign of a very solid play by Tefel here, because what did he cancel? Did he just cancel his infestation pit?
Yeah, it seemed like it. It kind of seemed like it. But right now Tefel has to react to what Kerr is doing, and Kerr is expanding, so Tefel naturally is gonna expand himself because he wants to have 1 more base than his opponent, except for obviously if his opponent is Zerg. But right now, I'd say, well, we are 10 minutes into the game. I'm gonna tell you that Tefel is going to create a hive and build a spire before the 12-minute mark. I can bet my money on it that he's going to go for a super early hive and a spire. And
yeah, in a case where Protoss is playing the third base, I guess you can allow yourself to do that, because if Protoss wants to secure the third, then there's no way he can press you and force you into defending all-ins. Now, wow, what are we seeing here? Is that a Stargate or what?
Yeah,
we have a Stargate and Robo Bay at the same time.
Yeah, well, the Stargate is probably gonna be there to get maybe some early mothership or something similar. And it was a Hydra then, not an infestation pit that got cancelled. And basically, that
so
was
he just saw it and cancelled the Hydra then went for infestation pit instead.
And look what's happening. 11 minutes 10 seconds into the game, there's a hive and a spire going on. So yeah,
does that mean I have to give you double the amount of money you bet, or what?
Yeah, no, seriously, I'm not surprised that Tefel's doing this, because he's well known for going for very early spires and hives. And what I want to mention still about this Hydra then is that Tefel really likes the Link Roach Hydra with some later Corruptors in the PvZ. It doesn't really, it doesn't really work as well when your opponent is going for the quick Colossi or something similar to that. But Tefel has had some success
and
with
check
this
out
kind of armor.
Mind game. That Stargate is the reaction to the fact that the Zerg is not aggressive. If the Zerg is not aggressive, that means he is going for a faster hive and broodlord tech, and that's awesome. What these guys are doing is just awesome. Kerr reads into the lack of aggression from Tefel, and he says, okay, you want to go faster broodlords, I will go a faster mothership, and screw you.
Yeah, and we've seen this type of play from in a PvZ when just both of the players are going for super early technology, and moreover, when you see Kerr's vision, he doesn't really know that there's a hive. He doesn't really know that there's Spyro and the Greater Spyro in production, and so he doesn't really have a lot of information about his opponent. He's going for the fourth Nexus,
and
but
Tefel knows about that because there was a Zergling, so that's a mark. Okay, attack right now, Tefel. You need to attack, and I think he did read into that. He's just waiting. He may be waiting for his Broodlord's tech to come. I'm not sure it is that necessary right now, considering the size of the armies.
Well, I would say that this is not an army that Tefel would be proud of. Yeah, it's not really. Well, he's trying to snipe the Colossi, but the Colossi should be just attacking. He doesn't really need to move them back because they're gonna die anyway.
Yeah.
And at the same time, he really has to get rid of as many Zerglings as possible. Nice fungal on the Zealots on the right flank, but at the same time, this army is getting basically picked off. And I really like how the Corruptors die from Kurr. So. It doesn't. Oh, nice fungal on the Stalkers. Great surround, and he doesn't really let them blink away. So that was a great pick off by Tefel. But the thing is that Tefel really had too many Zerglings. There was 130 Zerglings in this army.
What has probably been unfortunate is the positioning of the armies because. Well, Tefel's army was split in two by this formation of rocks and bushes around here, and some of his Zerglings just got caught outside of his main army. If that was open ground, he probably would have surrounded the Protoss, but it, or at least forced a lot more force fields, but right now it's more difficult. And oh my god, the mothership is here and there is no detection at the front, so Tefel needs to back away. And these heavy Broodlords are just wasting their breath right now. Oh, it's so terrible, I need to move around the map.
Yeah, Tefel with the Broodlords. The Broodlords are really great on Ohana because it's not a huge map, so they can move about, I'd say, relatively quickly. And it's not a huge problem with them being out of position as much as it is on, let's say, Entombed Valley or Whirlwind. Tefel right now is trying to reinforce his position in front of his opponent's natural with some spine crawlers. I really dig this idea, but at the same time, Tefel doesn't really have a late game army, and he's well known for this. He builds a lot of Zerglings, a lot of Roses, and he, even though he has some Infestors and some Broodlords, this is not a huge
this awkward position again. Oh my god, two Infestors getting sniped for free. Corruptors on the front getting... Well, they are getting hit for free. There is no trade happening right now, and Tefel, I think he doesn't really know what to do. If go for spine crawlers, then he should have at least a dozen of them here. Okay, so a surround with a Zergling army, but we have an Archon, we have a Vortex, but that Vortex didn't catch that much units of the Protoss, and Stalkers being caught in the Fungal Grove. A very nice play by Tefel, but will it be enough? I got a feeling that a Protoss has a bigger army here.
Yeah, he has a lot greater army, and even though not every single one of the Brutus has been caught in the Vortex, it's been just enough for Kurr to just clean it all up, and Tefel doesn't really have any spine crawlers in his forward base, and there we go.
And we have GG, and by doing that, by saying that, Kurr becomes the first champion in the Jägerisk Pro Cup weekly series, where you can win $100 every Friday at 8 PM. So, Kurr, what a fantastic job. I mean, he has Protoss versus Zerg matchup nailed down. He knows exactly what to do. His timings are nearly perfect. And he just has a great sense of this matchup. Great play. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, and I really like the fast mothership. I really like the army composition and the positioning. So yeah, Kurr wins with Tefel 3-0. Wow, that was a fast one.
Series. And I don't want to say that Tefel was any worse, because he played amazingly before, and he was extra strong, but Kurr just nailed it down. I mean, he was in his own zone. He knew what was doing. He read into the opponent. That was a perfect play, and I would wish I had such a strong PVZ.
Yeah, so nice play by Kurr, and really great games today.
Yeah. I'm amazed. I the one thing I'm really amazed about is I wasn't expecting that we will see such a new and innovative timing from Crew with this lack of +1 on 8 gate push. But hey, anyway guys, we'll be back with you after a short commercial break. We'll talk a little bit more, take your feedback because it's very important for us. So don't go anywhere, we'll be back in a second.